My biggest piece of the first part of the big dream would be that those churches begin to realize that we are a community here in this city, and we may do things differently, but nonetheless we're all called to reflect the thing that Jesus said would tell people that we're different, and that is that we have love for one another. But what I think has happened, especially in America, because part of the American culture is an individualistic kind of thing, is churches by default end up competing with each other. And in general, they're competing for church attenders. There's this small segment, roughly 18 to 20% of all types that attend anything on a regular basis as a worship service. And so churches in general are trying to compete to get their slice of that 18 to 20%. Rather than coming together as a community, even though they don't have to do it all the same way, they would come together as a community, and the city would begin to see that. And we're just at the edges of that. It's just barely been touched by some very strange circumstances over some things that we've done where that conversation is starting. But almost every time it starts, there's a pullback because there's obviously a fear there. If my job is to get more people to come to my church on Sunday morning, and that's how I define my job, then I'm probably not going to want to cooperate with you to make you better because they might choose you over me. And nobody would voice that. Nobody would say that's what we're up to. The really biggest dream, and this sounds almost too big, is the goal that I've had for FBC for 10 years, is that people in the community would say, you know, I don't get it, but that church loves people. We've had opportunities to minister with the gay community here through SCAP, Southern Colorado AIDS Project. We wanted to show those folks that although we might not agree with choices they were making, they were valuable to us because they were valuable to God as people. And we want to be there, and we want to know that we don't hate your guts. We love you, and we love you enough to do two things. We love you enough to be honest with you, and we love you enough to tell you what we think is the greatest truth in the world, which is about Jesus. We love you enough for that. But it took a while because boy, oh boy, most of the time their thought was, this church hates my guts. You know, that's the kind of thing, the church that loves people. And then I would wish that the entire city was, instead of, there's a bunch of evangelicals who fight with each other and are you know, this one does this and this one does this, and if you don't believe this, you're out. If you do, you know, that they would say that there are a group of Christians there, and that city's just a city of love.